Roll Tide, everybody, and we're talking to you from Pearl River Resort here in Philadelphia, Mississippi. We got a lot to talk about. Would it be Nick Saban that kicked Greg McElroy's ass, or would he get somebody on the team to do that? I think those are big questions that we need answered. Also, what's Alabama's offense going to look like this year? I'm hearing a lot of reports that you better be ready and buckle up, that these guys are going to be flinging the football around the field. We got Florida State and we got Alabama. A lot of people, including myself, know that this is the Coker Bowl. And we're going to talk to the guy right now that has this game named after him. But let me first play something that'll get everybody on this channel fired up and ready for football talk. All right, roll tide, everybody. Welcome to Elephant in the Room. Who knows what number episode this is, right? It's got to be like let's just say it's 178, and then I'll check and find out. But anyway, we've done 170 plus shows together. Even though we're in different screens, we're actually sitting next to each other. Just for all of you guys that are wondering. But we're at Pearl River here at the Timeout Sports Lounge. Vegas-style sports book. Jake just put $1,000 on Bama to run the table. So I'm impressed, man. You believe in this team, and it's probably because this offense is going to be out there slinging the football and kicking some ass.
No, that's right. Hey, before we get started, can you hear me?
Yeah, I hear you good.
Okay.
You can't hear yourself?
Hear you.
No, it's probably
there we go.
What happened was I've size 13 feet, and when I was setting this up, my foot got caught in your headphone, and your headphone went flying.
It's shorting out on me. There
is it? Go. Yeah, just that was on me. Sorry about that.
I hear you.
Hope I didn't break that.
What's new?
You look snazzy. You look really snazzy. Why are you dressed up like this? Oh gosh,
because I'm about to look like a tool on a commercial.
We're here recording a commercial with this guy. This guy here is going to be you're the star of the commercial.
Yep. Low hanging fruit.
Well, you look nice. I'm going to be an extra in this commercial. We'll have it on here for you guys, I'm sure, at some point. But it is fun hanging out with you, man, at Pearl River. 20 big screen TVs, full size bar. You got, the kiosks are like right here, the individual kiosks, the windows over here. And with college football dead ahead, Alabama and Florida State play in Tallahassee. You're going to the game. We're still debating whether we're going to do the show there, the tailgate show there. But here we go, man. It's football season, right? And nothing better than the start of football season to coincide with Nick Saban calling out Greg McElroy. I thought it was hilarious when Saban was kind of talking about him a little bit. I think it's tongue-in-cheek somewhat, but I think there's a part of Saban that really wasn't happy about Greg suggesting that he was going to come back and be he's going to come back and coach. And then some people were like Florida State and then this and that. And Coach Saban, should I get the exact quote from Saban or did you hear it already?
I heard a tidbit. I heard the most important part of it. Comment like that would get your ass kicked back in the
day. So he's not necessarily saying that he would be the ass kicker, but he's saying somebody would be.
Well, yeah, Coach Saban, he'd give you a verbal ass whipping, and then you got to a dark spot in that locker room. He'd be nothing but a stain on the carpet after the D-line's done with you.
He said, I don't know where that came from. Greg McElroy played quarterback for us. And if he had done something like that when he was a player, he would have got his ass kicked, Saban said. Man, Greg's got courage, man. I mean, you take on Saban like that. I think that he said it, and then all of a sudden it was like, oh, shit, this thing took off.
Well, I don't know who the source was. I know I saw Coach Saban last year at the South Florida game. I think I hit on this, but and speaking to him, there was no, I got zero notion that he was coming back to football based on what he told me.
No.
Said he enjoyed game day, but he was like, I don't, he's watching guys come out of the tunnel, I think at a Michigan game, and he was like, I don't miss the intensity of this.
Yeah, right. He's making more money now, and he's doing less work, right?
He's been making probably more money outside of football for years.
Right.
The guy's on fire from an investment standpoint. But,
yeah.
I
love him. I love listening to him. You got to be in the locker room for those talks.
Mm-hmm.
Now I have a kid. I had to give a talk to my son yesterday, like an intense Nick Saban style talk, but I was not nearly as good. I was just pissed off that we did something stupid at school. What? Do you remember any of those talks in the locker room? Like, is it because I see like video clips of some of them, right? My favorite is the high achievers, the high achievers
don't get along with what is it? Average people.
Yeah, and I agree with that, man. I mean, like, I totally get that. But him saying that is like, whoa, pretty intense.
Oh yeah, well, his delivery is perfect all the time. He's a machine. He's a machine. He knows he's one of the best communicators there is around. And he's forceful in his speeches. He he understands what's important to talk about and what triggers players and really what's meaningful to the locker room. And so, to get everybody on the same page, it's kind of like, jokingly, he's talking about Greg getting his ass kicked, but truly, if guys were getting in trouble, they were outside the lines of what Coach Saban thought, then things would have been dealt with. One way or the other, and his personality is infectious. People know what he wants. That's the biggest, to me. That's the biggest. Leadership positive point that I would make is that everybody knew their role. Everybody knew what Coach Saban wanted out of his teams, and at the end of the day, if somebody got away from that, they would be held accountable by the team first.
Was it like that at Florida State?
It was my last year there. I think, I think it takes a little time to get there. I think when players truly believe in the program put forth, and they buy in, that's when you get that self-accountability.
Right.
And, my last year at Florida State, that team was extremely talented. I'm sure you've seen the clips of Jimbo talking about that team, that won the national championship in 2013. It was extremely talented, really good group of guys. And, we knew we had an opportunity to win a national championship. And so everybody bought in and held each other accountable. And that's when you've got a championship team, honestly, is when the culture gets to that point. But the thing about that is at Alabama, it was year in, year out for almost 20 years.
Right. Like a machine. I remember watching you guys beat Auburn, right?
Yeah.
And I watched it in Baron Huber's old house in Tuscaloosa, the fullback from 2009 and our good buddy. And we piled on each other like we won the national championship. I don't know if it was because of the drinking or it was because of the fact that we just didn't want to see Auburn win. I got a feeling that we celebrated as much as you guys celebrated.
It was rumored that Coach Saban helped Jimbo out a little bit, from a game plan perspective. I don't know if that's true or not, but I would imagine he didn't want Auburn to win, so it wouldn't surprise me.
No, and I still can't believe that Jimbo.
I don't know if that's a controversial take or not. I think that's pretty straightforward, and you would expect that. But
well, you would hope that. Like, look, if Coach Saban helped Jimbo, who was his guy up until Jimbo, just absolutely buried him in a press conference. And I know Jimbo's kind of taking a step back on that. There's a lot of pressure with those jobs, man. You look back on the NIL thing now, everybody pays,
yeah.
And I don't think Coach Saban ever said it to be like Jimbo was so wrong in the whole thing because Coach Saban to me, and him better than I do, but the one thing about covering him and being around the program and all that stuff is that he's a no nonsense, no shit type of guy, right? So if he says something, I don't ever see him saying stuff, and I don't ever remember him saying stuff like just to throw it out there. It was always like, hey, it wasn't about Texas A&M cheating. It was about the direction of college football.
Yeah, and the amount. Well, I think Jimbo took it as a comment about his work ethic.
Right, and that's not what it was.
No, it was not at all. And Coach Saban used to say, Jimbo, when I was leaving Florida State, he used to say that Jimbo was his best offensive coordinator that he ever had.
Wow.
And so, there was a tremendous amount of respect there. And I hated seeing those two, really, Jimbo get angry and go to that place. But, you take things the wrong way. It's a learning moment. You just can't get emotional about some of that stuff.
Yeah. Well, and Coach Saban handled it well. I'm sure those guys are cool. And
yeah, both great guys. It just, it's just one of those. Camera being brought in and filmed during that event was, the guy filming that, that's the problem right there. How do you expect these coaches to come and say things to you that are meaningful and insightful about their program if you're going to film everything? Needs to be confidential, but that's a different topic altogether.
Yeah. Well, let's switch gears here, and let me remind you guys that we are proudly presented by these guys here, our buddy at Residence Inn by Marriott Ocean City. You're talking about back-to-back coastal style hotel of the year. You talk about sunsets. You talk about the real crab cakes down on the Maryland shore. Secrets Bar, the Green Turtle. I don't know why I say the Green Turtle. Probably because it's like my favorite restaurant bar from Maryland. I used to have a T-shirt. But you guys go check it out. Keith's down there. He's got you covered. Our sister program from the next round, they actually went out there and did their show, so it's pretty cool. And this time of year will be great. But they got fishing tournaments and music venues and music festivals and all that kind of stuff. It's a really cool place. We appreciate them for being part of what we do. All right, well, let's talk some Bama football. Ryan Grubb spoke to the media.
I've got a point too. It's kind of about it encompasses Auburn a little bit, but it leans back into where we are at the quarterback position in Alabama.
Okay.
I'm seeing reports yesterday that Auburn is not naming a starter. They may play 3 guys in week 1. I cannot imagine being in a worse situation than that.
Yeah.
That is to me, that is the worst situation you can possibly be in. And that's because to me that says that you don't have enough confidence in any of your guys to go out there and get it done. Like I saw some Auburn talking heads talking about how Ty Simpson was named the starter 2 weeks into the season, and that just shows that you're uncomfortable in making that decision during the spring. That's completely false in my opinion. When you've got a quarterback battle, the best time to name your starter is about the time that Ty was named the starter. You give guys a time to compete, and then there's a clear front runner, a leader of the team. This is our guy. Let's get ready for week 1.
Mm-hmm.
When you go in there week 1 with 3 different guys that may be the signal caller, that is the worst because you can't get on the same page with all the guys. Nobody really knows who the leader is. It's just complete chaos. And so, I again, to get back to that Alabama quarterback position, and I talked to some guys that were at practice last week. They were telling me that really Austin Mack, Keelan Russell, Ty, all 3 of them are capable. They look great, and there's not a ton of separation, but it's Ty because of his mental capacity,
right. Yeah,
which is the best report you can possibly get. You got 3 guys in there who are extremely focused on getting their job done. From what I hear, they all 3 get along really well, support each other, really good teammates to each other. I cannot be happier with what I'm hearing about that position room and really where we are. And I'm really thankful we're not going into the season saying, hey, we got 3 guys that are going to play week 1.
Well, you went through this, and it was a mess in the beginning of 2015.
Yeah, but it was just chaotic, and that's you don't get all the reps that you need to get with the ones. It's you really the whole offensive unit sometimes doesn't get all the reps that they should get because you've got certain time allocated to each period of practice, and so it's really hard to get on the same page with everybody when you're popping in and popping out with different units the entire practice. So really, really glad to see that Ty's in there. I think we're going to look pretty organized. It's week 1, some new starters, but and obviously the running back situation's a little muddled, but I think we're going to be in good shape.
I've always been one of these guys who, in the course of my life, especially in sports, when people doubt me, like it motivates me, right? I love it. Like, I don't love it, but it's like, oh, this guy can't hit third in the lineup. He can't play third base. He can't do this. He can't do that. And then it's like I'm my best when I feel like I got to prove myself. And it's even with like shows and stuff, like doing this, like being on the tailgate show, like. Did you feel like that? Like, does that work for you, or is it more difficult because you're trying to win the locker room over, and it's just one more thing that that's a distraction to the things that you need to do to get ready for the game?
It works for me in certain scenarios. It depends on who's got my back and who doesn't. As the quarterback, you want your coaches and teammates to have your back. That's one. If you don't have the locker room, you don't have your coaches, it's very hard to step up as a leader and control your team or at least push everybody
right
in the right direction. So, again, after I really felt like the season started in that Louisiana Monroe game, because we came off Ole Miss. Coach Sabin said it's over. You're the guy for the rest of the year, and we moved on, and everybody just got on the bandwagon, got on the same train. What's said in the media doesn't really matter. It's kind of like this Jackson Arnold scenario. I mean, I swear, I think they build him up. I'm never going to root against a kid. I hope that Jackson Arnold does great.
Yeah.
I hope that all those Auburn quarterbacks do great. But, when he was at Oklahoma and I'm hearing the numbers, that he's getting paid to go to Auburn, I was kind of shocked by that, and I didn't understand the hype. I think he's capable. I think he's talented. But I didn't understand that hype, and, you almost kind of setting them up to fail. So you can't really take what the media says. You got to take it with a grain of salt, in my opinion.
Right.
So it really doesn't matter what they say. The guys in your locker room, the guys on your team, your coaches, that's what matters. And so, if they don't have the back of the starting quarterback, then that may be one of the biggest problems teams run into.
Yeah. Well, this team's got a starting quarterback, and I love the fact that you said that you're hearing how well they get along behind the scenes. I'm also excited about Ryan Grubb as offensive coordinator. No offense to Nick Sheridan. I thought he did a decent job, but Ryan Grubb seems like he is on a different level when it comes to this running an offense thing.
Well, to me, Nick Sheridan has been very selfless in all of this. He's a young guy. Ryan Grubb was the OC initially when Kalen DeBoer came in. He leaves. Nick Sheridan comes in and he's the OC. I thought he did a great job. It's a new role at Alabama. That's a tough position, in and of itself. But then to roll back to his position and Ryan Grubb coming in, I think it makes sense. I think Nick understands that, and I think we're in a really good spot with the team in place where they are in terms of the coaching staff. And I think, look, Ryan Grubb may not be around very long. People are going to be calling him. He's going to be a head coach someday, I would think. And so Nick Sheridan needs to just get ready to be that OC again. It's kind of like the backup quarterback. You got to stay ready. You might be the guy here in a year or two. So I think he's more than capable. I think it's going to be good for him to see Ryan Grubb operate at Alabama, see how he handles the situation, and hopefully when that day comes that Ryan Grubb leaves, hopefully it's not soon, but the better we play, the more likely it's going to happen sooner. So I think Nick's a great addition to that coaching staff, and I think he's going to be well prepared to be the OC at some point.
I want to talk about Ryan Williams, but first I want to say Roll Tide. And I want to say that there's a lot of great things going on here at Pearl River Resort. We're at the Timeout Sports Lounge right now. Jay Coker, me, Mick Gillispie. I want to tell you that Labor Day weekend, they're having the double big bang session, right? It's bingo. And I know, like, some of you guys are like, man, I'm not into bingo. But the people that like bingo, it's like mustaches. The people that like a mustache love a mustache. People that like bingo love bingo.
Bingo cult.
Oh, they have it, but they've got double the prizes during the main session, double the fun. Doors open at 12, early birds at 1 p.m., and then the main session at 1:30. But they're having a bingo event here Labor Day weekend. Check that out. Also, some great acts that are going to be here. You're a country music fan. Aaron Lewis and the State Liners are going to be performing at Silver Star, which is where we've been here doing part of our commercial. That's October 4th at 8 o'clock. Tickets available. You love Aaron Lewis. You like all country music.
I love Aaron Lewis. He's great. Tracy Lawrence.
Yeah, my
love
guy.
Me some Tracy.
Hey, my guy, Tracy Lawrence, 90s country. I love 90s country. He's going to be here on November 15th. Those alibis and lion eyes and all the best lines, Lord knows that. You don't know that one.
That one.
Yeah, he thought Tracy Lawrence was the watermelon crawl.
No.
That's Tracy Bird,
that was
man.
An initial thought. And you know what? That's a good comparison.
They're two 90s countries,
yeah.
Tracy's, right?
Yeah. If you know Tracy Bird, you know ball.
Well, you guys can come here to the sports book where we're hanging right now, and people are in here right now betting on college football. Let's check. I'm curious. What do you know what the Alabama Florida State early line is?
13.5, I think.
Okay, so 13.5.
It was 13.5.
Man, Bama favored by 13.5.
Well,
God, that's a lot.
You may need to look it up after Jam Miller went down, because that was prior to Jam Miller's injury. I bet it might be 12 now.
You think it dropped that much? Because
I think it dropped a point.
I'm looking it up right now. This one though to you is special. I mean, because you got to be a part of both programs. Now it's still 13.5, so it didn't move at all.
Huh.
I mean, look, things could change between now and kickoff. I don't think Florida State's getting enough credit. But I'll tell you this Alabama offense, it's if the offensive line's kicking everybody's ass from what I'm understanding and I'm hearing, right? Man. Running backs got a block, but you get these wide receivers going, these Ryan Williams, this could be a explosive team.
Oh, it's going to be an explosive team, especially when Jam Miller gets back. I mean, look, Ryan Grubb, he really complimented all the backup running backs yesterday. I mean, again, some guys are a little slow in protection, but they've been working hard through camp. They're getting better. They're going to have, a couple weeks to prepare against this Florida State team with the ones. Jam Miller not around, that means a lot more reps. And so, this is a big opportunity for these guys to really get better. And like I said yesterday or in our last show, I never want anybody to get hurt, but for Jam Miller to be out, for 8 weeks, those guys learn a lot. You can rotate them in a lot more, and he's going to be fresh when he comes back. So, hopefully Jam Miller comes back and performs and is that extra key leader. And we've, played pretty well through those first 8 games, put ourselves in playoff position. And when he returns, it's going to be, I think it's going to be a really, really good showing.
Let's talk a little tight ends at Alabama. Bama lost C.J. Dupree. I saw him at the Senior Bowl. Really good dude. And Robbie Oots, who was one of my favorite players last year. I mean, anytime Robbie Oots would catch a pass and then guys would bounce off of him, it was kind of that Merrill Hodge type thing going. So now it's like a group of players. Josh Cuevas, you keep hearing that the redshirt seniors, been banged up a little bit. Danny Lewis, who went in the transfer portal and came back. I mean, you expect to see something from him. Jay Lindsey. I get this feeling that Caleb Edwards is going to play a lot. True freshman. Marshall Pritchett's another guy that's going to have an opportunity. Then they had the 2 guys transfer in, right? Brody Dalton and Jack Sacamarco. Samarco. Did I get that right? Yeah, Samarco.
Where is he from?
He was from West Virginia.
Okay, yeah.
Samarco. But I look at tight end and I'm like, man, you cannot pass on the tight end, right? And in this offense, It's just one more weapon. But when you're like a first-time starting quarterback, right? And I heard A.J. McCarron talking about his time at Alabama and how at the beginning it was like, look, just manage the game. Don't turn the ball over, right?
Yep.
And then as the season progressed, it was like, look, you got to win this game, going into that national championship against LSU.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought about you. I thought, it's probably your run was different because you had to throw the ball so much in the Ole Miss game. You probably had confidence, like, even though we didn't win, you got us back in that game. But I'm sure part of it's like when you get out there and you just don't want to mess it up. But at the same time, the offense works better when you throw the ball and you're not afraid.
Yeah, I mean, look, when it is very tough playing for Coach Sabin when, it's kind of up in the air as to who the starter is. And his key is not turning the ball over, managing the game, getting it to the guys that will make the plays in the most efficient manner possible. Do not lose the game. And I remember having those meetings with him where he's told me that explicitly, just you just need to get it to our guys and don't lose the game for us, pretty much. I mean,
right.
I was like,
you know what that term is, right?
Yeah, I do.
I don't even know. We cuss on here some, but I don't even know if I should say that. Don't F it up. How about that?
Yeah. Yeah. I believe he used that line a few times.
Listen, Coker.
And so, I mean, I think you enter some games a little cautious and taking some chances, maybe throwing it with a little bit too much trust in where your guys are going to be. But, sometimes the game dictates. The national championship against Clemson, I went in that game thinking that we would win that game as long as, we maintained a level of conservatism. But, as the game went on and you realized how good they were, we had to take some chances and you just had to let the ball go. So it's kind of a feel it out process. And it's kind of tough to say because you have, hey, man, these are your rules. This is where you need to go with the ball based on this coverage and how they're playing and where their leverage is. But, it definitely crosses your mind that you don't need to lose the game. But once you get to a certain spot, you got to roll the dice.
Well, it was a lot of fun throwing the football with you yesterday. We're here filming the next Pearl River ad campaign. Let's roll. And you're like the subject. You and Steve Azar, the country singer, our buddy.
I didn't have that on my bingo card.
Well, it's like this is the first commercial. You guys will see it because it's going to come out here before football season. But your thoughts on being on a commercial? I mean, you look nice. I'm in the background.
Yeah.
Extra.
I've done I think 2 before. Done a few voiceovers, but my first.
Wait, hold on. A few voiceovers. You do voiceover for Elvis? Oh. It's so funny because I didn't know you, and then we start hanging out, and I'm like, this guy sounds like somebody. I was like, oh, it's Elvis. Okay.
Yeah, I got that a lot.
Can you sing like Elvis?
I don't know. I hadn't tried, at least in public.
We can go on together.
I'm not even going to go there. I'm not stirring that pot.
What if this is a total digression. We got to get off because I got to go work. But there's a guy that's like a minister in Arkansas that everybody thinks is Elvis, by the way. And our friend David Lee, give David Lee a shout out. Our buddy that is an Elvis tribute artist. He does Conway Twitty now, but he's a big Bama guy. He's awesome, man. He's awesome. I need to get you guys together. We need to have him on the podcast to talk about being an Elvis for 30 years and you sounding like Elvis.
he can give me a judge. He can judge my voice.
Yeah, he'll be like, hey, you really got that down. Thank you very much.
He'd give me a ranking or a rating 1 through 10.
Kind
of like the makeup artist yesterday.
Yeah. You got a good score. He won the Ultimate Elvis, which is like the event that they do in out in what is that called? Graceland. They all the Elvises from all over the world that are tribute artists. They come in. Some of you guys call them impersonators. I don't like that term. Tribute artists. And if you've ever seen one of these shows. They're so good, man. Like
Tribute artist. I have not heard that one.
Yeah. But with my cousin did it. My cousin Kevin was one. And my grandmother used to take me to his, and it was like packed.
You could have that Elvis hair if you worked on it a little bit.
I could, but I'm too old now. The guy died, when he was what was like 41, maybe something like that.
He was 41 when he passed away.
Young. He was definitely young. Well, the crazy thing is we got to get off here, but I listen. So I'm traveling all the time. I've been listening to the Casey Kasem old top 40s.
Yeah,
and they do like the 70s and 80s on the iHeart station. And I just like listening to Casey's stories, like the talk ups, like this long distance dedication goes out to Bryant Coker. He grew up a huge football fan. It reads, "Dear Casey, I'm stuck in Tallahassee, but I've got dreams of Tuscaloosa. Would you play Sweet Home Alabama?" And then anyway, with Elvis, when he was alive, man, he dominated just like Alabama. All right, I think that's it for the show. They're giving me the cut sign right now. Thank you to everybody at Pearl River for entertaining us again. Dancing Rabbit Golf Course. Jake, you're a big golfer. They call it the Augusta you can play. You've played a lot of courses. Why is this one so cool?
It's just so well maintained. Plus, you got a great place to hang out after you get done playing. If you got an Alabama game you're coming to, stay here Friday, play golf, maybe game a little bit. Head of the game, come back.
Yeah, and I'll tell you, we had Philip M. Steakhouse last night. I went with the Tomahawk again. Steak was perfect. It was absolutely perfect. So anyway, guys, thanks for hanging out with us. Like, subscribe, thumbs up. I ask you to do that every time. Get in the comment section. Make sure that you check out Cover Crimson Podcast Network. Maybe you can't watch live on YouTube. And then swing over to Pearl River. We appreciate them for all of their help. Roll Tide, everybody.
Roll Tide.
Oh.